Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Big Show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. If you're a first-time listener, thank you for stopping by. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we are happy to have you with us today. As always, my good friend, I haven't done this for a while, but Mr. Blue Man Group, and I also am Mr. Blue Man Group. I got Al on the show here today. Al, how you doing today?
You know what? I'm really doing well. By blue man, you don't mean our emotional feelings, our state of mind, so to speak. It's that we're wearing blue shirts. We're happy. We're happy. We're upbeat.
Happy.
We're all set to go.
I don't want to get a copyright infringement here, but blue.
Oh, gosh. Please don't change. Please don't change the dial.
There you go.
We'll get better.
Well, it's good to be on the show here today. We had an action-packed week in the markets, and people are probably thinking, action-packed? It didn't really do a whole lot. On Thursday, the markets did gap up pretty bigly, as we like to call on the show here. But our sponsor, Online Trading Academy, before we get into anything, has been teaching people just like you how to trade and invest in the financial markets, whether it's stocks, options, futures, Forex, cryptocurrency, whatever that soup du jour is. Online Trading Academy has education and content to help you make smarter and more intelligent investing decisions. So that being said, let's get into a quick market update, Al. We have, one thing I actually do want to mention, we talk a lot about in this show for, 6-8 months, maybe a year now, WWE stock, no longer trading on the New York Stock Exchange, but don't be so fast. TKO is now the ticker symbol. It's going to mirror that stock. The WWE and the UFC combined. Basically, Endeavor holds about 51%, a $21 million merger with that stock there. So great job with WWE and UFC and good old Vinnie Mac. But shares are still right around that $100 mark, which is pretty cool because they just mirrored that. So we're actually about 102, depending on when you're listening to the show here. So that being said, those shares are still available. It's just transferred over to TKO.
Yeah, love that. Love the symbol.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So let's get into a couple things here, Al. We have a lot of listeners right now that are trading right now, and they're looking for more consistent returns. And I want to talk about that a lot in the show here, is how to have consistent returns in the financial markets, whether a market is going up or down or sideways like we've been seeing for quite some time here even on the more macro scale. Mm-hmm. So S&P 500, right around the $450 mark. This week here, kind of a choppy week. It gapped up, it gapped down, gapped up, then it gapped up again. And then, so we're seeing just different movements overnight in the market,
right.
Which it goes back to, there's futures markets, there's Forex markets that's open 24 hours a day. And I want to talk about that here, probably in the second and third segments here today, even on the fourth here. So our listeners can understand that there are strategies to be consistent in the markets any time of day. Before we get into all that, I know you have a few things that you want to talk about the markets, some of your updates here. Let's hear what you got in the market as far as an opinion, and then we're going to get into those strategies to have consistent returns.
Yeah, you mentioned the WWE merger. There's some activity that we haven't seen for a long time, especially in IPOs. There's a lot of IPOs coming out here. One, this week that looks like it could be pretty big. But I think the message there is that people are becoming a little more comfortable in what they think is going to be happening in the economy going forward.
Yeah, sometimes you should be wary or concerned if you're feeling comfortable.
Well, here's the thing: people have a tendency to listen to what is being said to them, not necessarily by people that are actually moving the markets, but by people that want them to do something so they benefit.
And
we talk about this.
Talk a lot about.
Yeah, we talk about this every week, where instead of listening to all of the noise out there, listening to the pundits, or even what the companies are saying about what they're doing, people aren't listening to who's actually moving the price of something. This last week, we've seen the CPI numbers come out, the PPI numbers come out, both showing an increase in inflation, but not necessarily enough to fluster the markets.
Yep.
But
next week, CPI at 0.2, but PPI was at 0.7.
Yeah, the CPI was up 0.3. In the past two previous months, it was up 0.02%. So we've got an increase there. But think about some of the things that are really important. What about gas? Gas prices have gone up
Crazy.
11%.
Well, that's
recently.
XLE and oil has been going up.
Absolutely. And do gas prices impact us at all?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just what you pay at the pump. You think about oil. Almost everything that we use has an oil component of some sort.
People like to travel, flights.
People like to travel. Yeah, in fact, one of the airlines I think it was United that came out with some not very attractive numbers because of the increase in the cost of fuel. So they're looking at a hit to their earnings. And you've got food up since the beginning of the year, 19%, electricity up 23%, shelter up 7%. Those things that's what really impacts people. That's why we're seeing so many people come into these classes now that are saying, look, I'm taking a hit. The cost of living has gone way up. And a lot of people, and I've seen this in the last 3 classes that I did, one just yesterday, where people came in that had what they felt was a pretty substantial and a pretty stable portfolio that took a big hit in 2022. And we're talking about, for a lot of these people, hundreds of thousands of dollars that they lost in that year. A lot of people say, but this year the market's up and we're making money. Well, are you really making money? Are you just getting back what you lost in 2022? And if you did lose in 2022, if you took the average loss, you still haven't recouped what you lost. So you really are not profiting. You're just getting back to where you might have been before.
That's all good. That'll go feel good.
Right. So with the CPI and the PPI numbers, those are wholesale numbers. Those were up very big. It's the largest increase in 14 months. It was up 0.7%, and the estimate was 0.4%. What that means is that's the cost of goods that are being produced that will end up costing the consumer down the road.
Yep.
So and the bottom line is, though, that all of these things that we're talking about might have short-term impacts on the market. I think the market has a short memory, and it always gets back to valuations, but the valuations and the impact of price are caused by something, and you need to be able to identify what that something is and where it occurs to be beneficial, to have the markets be beneficial for you.
And what's a little bit more sadder news, we'll get into some fun stuff. Unemployment claims were up as well, so there's less people working, which the interest rates that's working what they've been doing. But that's why people are looking at the markets. And you mentioned there's a lot of people coming in these classes that are now taking action. Well, now is the best time to do that. Not yesterday, yesterday actually was, but not tomorrow or the next day or next month. It's now. So come into one of these classes and see how you can see how to use the market for different strategies. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now for 2 seats for an investing class that we do here at the Academy. Physical investing class to learn about the markets and everything that we'll talk about here today. Text investing to the number 210-210. Coming up next, we got lots of